A very good morning, class. I once again welcome you to the online sessions for English classes organized by Kendriya Vidyalaya Singrauli. And today we are going to take up the next chapter in your book, a story entitled as The Rat Trap by Selma Lagerlöf. So we'll be discussing about the author, the background to the story, the explanation, of course. The content would be read and we are going to discuss the contents, and we would be discussing about the theme and the title of the story as well. So, proceeding ahead, let's look into the life of the author, a brief insight into her life. Selma Ottilia Lovisa Lagerlöf was a Swedish author and teacher. So she was Swedish by birth and a teacher by profession. She published her first novel, Gösta Berling's Saga, at the age of 33. The most notable thing about this author was that she was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, and this award was received in the year 1909. Selma Lagerlöf is best remembered for her children's book, The Wonderful Adventures of Nils, and this book has been translated into different languages. The popularity of this book can be understood by this fact. Now a little about the background of the story. This story is set amidst the mines of Sweden, which are rich in iron ore. So the background to the story is iron mines in Sweden, right? Story is based on the belief that essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. It brings forth the idea that the world is a rat trap. Food, shelter, riches, and joys, all the tempting things are baits to trap mankind. So, a very important fact, actually, a very important idea is brought to the front through this story, that all the material things in this world, they are like baits that attract, that lure human beings and trap them in the rat trap of the world. So the story is told somewhat in the manner of the fairy tale. It's like a fairy tale. When you read this story, it keeps you interested, amused till the very end. And one of the very notable features of fairy tales, as we know, is happy ending. So this particular story also has a happy ending. That is why it is said to be told in a way a fairy tale is told. Now let's have a look at the title of the story. The title of the story, The Rat Trap, is a metaphor that highlights human predicament. Predicament means dilemma, right? A difficult situation when it's very difficult to know, it's very difficult to decide what to do. And it's a state of anxiety, indecisiveness, and uncertainty for a person. So, this story highlights human dilemma. It brings forth a clear picture of how most human beings fall into the trap of material benefits, right? They are attracted by material benefits. They are attracted by the things, materialistic things around them. And they have been compared to rats. The rats that are fooled by a bait and they get trapped in the rat trap. So human beings are compared to rats and the world is compared to a rat trap. All the luxuries, all the fascinating things of life, they have been compared to baits. So these fascinating things attract human beings like cheese attracts a rat, and human beings get trapped, as the rat gets trapped in the rat trap. Theme. So, as we discussed earlier as well, the theme of the story is about the essential goodness in a mankind. Right? Essential goodness that is present in everyone. Kindness and compassion can transform anyone. So, we are told, we realize that there's an essential goodness that is present in everyone, and that goodness can be brought to the front by being kind, by being compassionate, right? And so kindness and compassion can transform anyone. Now let's proceed with the reading of the story. Once upon a time, there was a man who went around selling small rat traps of wire. He made them himself at odd moments from the material he got by begging in the stores or at the big farms. Now look at the very first line. We are introduced to a man who used to sell rat traps made of wire. Now actually he is the protagonist. He is the central character of the story. He is a peddler. Peddler means a vendor, a person who sells off things by moving from one place to another, right? So this story is of a peddler who sold small rat traps made of wire. He made them himself. He made the rat traps himself with wire, and he has been told to be so poor that he arranged for the material for the rat traps by begging in the stores or at the big farms. So he didn't even have the resources to buy the wire, buy the materials which he needed for making rat traps. He used to beg to arrange for those materials. But even so, the business was not specially profitable. So he had to resort to both begging and petty thievery to keep both body and soul together. So, although he tried, he made efforts to be self-dependent in the sense to earn money by making rat traps and selling them. But actually, it was not a profitable business. And so, in order to keep himself alive, in order to keep body and soul together, keeping body and soul together means keeping alive. So, in order to keep himself alive, he also resorted to begging, and he also stole things from places just to keep himself going. Even so, his clothes were in rags, his cheeks were sunken, and hunger gleamed in his eyes. So, although he did so many things, still he could not get enough for his survival. He appeared to be very weak, to be undernourished. His cheeks were sunken, right, due to malnutrition. And hunger could easily be seen. Hunger gleamed in his eyes. Gleamed means shone, past of shine. Gleam is shine. So, hunger could be seen easily in the eyes of this peddler, this poor man. No one can imagine how sad and monotonous life can appear to such a vagabond who plods along the road left to his own meditations. Now, we are told about his life. He worked very hard, he tried his level best, he resorted to different means to keep himself going for survival, right? Still, he led a sad and monotonous life. Monotonous means boring. If something goes on in a regular way, in a routine way, it becomes monotonous. So his life was sad and boring. Sad because although he tried everything, he couldn't make it, right? So he was just dragging along with his existence. Vagabond. Now, who is a vagabond? Vagabond is a person who keeps on wandering from place to place. He's a homeless person, and that is what keeps him moving, wandering. Who plods along the road, left to his own meditations. So to this particular peddler who walks heavily, plods along means walking heavily. He walks along heavily along the road, and as he walked, he was always lost in thoughts, right? Left to his own meditations means thoughts. He was left to his own thoughts. He kept thinking to himself. So one particular day, but one day this man had fallen into a line of thought which really seemed to him entertaining. So one particular day, he got lost in a particular thought, a thought which seemed to be amusing, seemed to be interesting to this particular peddler. He had naturally been thinking of his rat traps when suddenly he was struck by the idea that the whole world about him, the whole world with its lands and seas, its cities and villages, was nothing but a big rat trap. So, as he was thinking about the rat trap, suddenly a thought came to his mind. The thought was the whole world, that includes lands and seas, cities and villages. The whole world is similar, but nothing but a big rat trap means it is very much similar to a big rat trap. It had never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people. So he was lost in thoughts, right? He thought that there's no meaning of existence in the world. The world is nothing, but it offers temptation. It's only a temptation, right? It offered riches and joys, shelter and food, heat and clothing, exactly as the rat trap offered cheese and pork. And as soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, it closed in on him, and then everything came to an end. Now bait we discussed earlier as well. Bait is something which is offered to attract someone or trap someone. And tempted means convinced, attracted, right? So according to the peddler here, the world is nothing but a temptation, and just as the cheese and pork are offered as bait to catch the rat, similarly, the material things in the world, things like shelter, food, heat and clothing, riches and joys, all these things are exactly like the bait, right? Exactly like the bait that attract men. And as soon as someone tries to comfort himself, to be entertained by these baits, he at once gets trapped into this rat trap. Rat trap here means the world. So, according to the peddler, the world is a rat trap. The interesting things, the fascinating things that are around us, these are like baits that attract us, and we get trapped in the rat trap. The world had, of course, never been very kind to him, so it gave him unusual joy to think ill of it in this way. It became a cherished pastime of his, during many dreary ploddings, to think of people he knew who had let themselves be caught in the dangerous snare, and of others who were still circling around the bait. The world had, of course, never been very kind to him. So, he had to lead a miserable life, right? Nobody in the world had ever been kind to the rat trap seller, to the peddler. So he, as a reaction or in response to this behavior of people towards him, he started thinking ill of others. He started enjoying when he thought ill of others. It became a cherished pastime. Cherished means favorite, loved. So it was his favorite pastime now that whenever he used to move from one place to another, he would get involved into thoughts of those, thinking ill of those people who were known to him, whom he knew, right? About the people, he would imagine those people. He would think about the people who were already trapped in the rat trap of worldly things, and also of others who were still circling round the bait. Now we come across one word here, snare. Snare means trap. So those, he thinks about those people who were already caught in the trap, and of others who were still circling around the bait. Circling around the bait means who are already attracted by the worldly things and they are just about to get trapped. One dark evening, as he was trudging along the road, he caught sight of a little grey cottage by the roadside, and he knocked on the door to ask shelter for the night. So one particular evening, as he was trudging along the road, trudging means walking slowly, he caught sight of a little grey cottage. He noticed a cottage by the side of the road and he knocked on the door. Now, why did he knock on the door? Because he wanted shelter for the night. Nor was he refused. Instead of the sour faces which ordinarily met him, the owner, who was an old man without wife or child, was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. Now, we are introduced to the second character here, the old man, the owner of the cottage that was there by the side of the road, right? So, when the peddler knocked on the door, he asked for shelter for the night. He was not refused. The owner of the house welcomed him. Look at this line. Instead of the sour faces which ordinarily met him. So we are told about the general reaction of people, the usual reaction of people whenever the peddler asked for shelter. Generally, he was not helped by anyone, but this particular time, he was welcomed by the old man into his cottage. Now, reason is also given here. The old man was without wife or child. He lived alone. There was no one else living with him. And he was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. So, he had been lonely. So, he was happy to get somebody to talk to share his things with. Immediately, he put the porridge pot on the fire and gave him supper. Then he carved off such a big slice from his tobacco roll that it was enough both for the stranger's pipe and his own. Finally, he got out an old pack of cards and played jollies with his guest until bedtime. So, the reaction of the crofter, the way he treated the peddler, is given here in these lines. We are told that he not only welcomes the peddler in his house, but he shares his food with him, he shares his tobacco with him. They played a game of cards and then they went off to sleep. So actually, this old man, he treated the peddler very well. He did not humiliate him. The old man was just as generous with his confidences as with his porridge and tobacco. Now see, look at these two words, generous. Generous means liberal, means he did not, he had been very generous about sharing his things. Confidences here means secrets. So we are told that the old man, the crofter, the owner of the cottage, he was not only generous in sharing his things, but also in sharing his secrets with the stranger. The stranger here is the peddler. The guest was informed at once that in his days of prosperity, his host had been a crofter at Ramjo's Iron Works and had worked on the land. Now that he was no longer able to do day labor, it was his cow which supported him. Yes, that Bossy was extraordinary. She could give milk for the creamery every day, and last month he had received all of 30 kroner in payment. Yes, so this old crofter, the old man, the owner of the cottage, he was very generous, he was kind hearted. He not only shares his things, his food with the peddler, but also he shared his secrets with the peddler, right? He informed the peddler that in the past, when he had been a young man, he worked as a crofter at Ramjo Iron Works. Now, crofter is a person who works on a rented farm, right? But now that he was no longer able to do day labor, means he did not have enough strength to work on the farm, his cow supported him. Yes, that Bossy was extraordinary. Now, Bossy here refers to the cow. The word comes from the Latin word bos, which is used for a cow. This particular cow gave milk for the creamery every day. That means this particular cow gave enough milk every day that the crofter could sell it in the creamery. Creamery is the factory that produces cheese and cream. And last month he had received all of 30 kroner in payment. Kroner is currency of Sweden. Swedish currency is kroner. So the crofter, the old man, also informs the peddler that by selling the cow's milk, he earned 30 kroners the previous month. The stranger must have seemed incredulous, for the old man got up and went to the window, took down a leather pouch which hung on a nail in the very window frame, and picked out 3 wrinkled 10 kroner bills. The stranger must have seemed incredulous. Incredulous means unbelieving, or maybe one who is not able to believe, right? The look was clear on the face of the peddler. It was clear that he was not able to believe what the crofter said. So the old man got up and went to the window, took down a leather pouch which hung on a nail in the very window frame, and picked out 3 wrinkled 10 kroner bills. So when the crofter, the old man, saw disbelief on the face of the peddler, when he understood that the peddler is not believing whatever he told him, in order to prove his point, he showed him the 3 wrinkled 10 kroner bills. He showed him the 30 kroners, bills, which he claims to have earned by selling the cow's milk. Now see, he did not keep any secret. This we have discussed earlier as well. Already we know this. So he very frankly, he shows the place to the peddler. He shows the place where the pouch was kept, which contained the 30 kroner bills. These he held up before the eyes of his guest, nodding knowingly, and then stuffed them back into the pouch. He showed the currency notes to the peddler to make him believe his words, and then kept the currency back in the pouch. The next day, both men got up in good season. The crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow, and the other man probably thought he should not stay in bed when the head of the house had gotten up. Now next morning, both men got up in good season. In good season means early enough. Next morning, both of them got up early. The crofter got up because he had to milk his cow, and the guest, the peddler, the other man, he did not consider it good. He did not consider it courteous that the owner of the house had awakened. So, how could he continue sleeping? So, he also left the bed. They left the cottage at the same time. The crofter locked the door and put the key in his pocket. The man with the rat trap said, "Goodbye and thank you." And thereupon each went his own way. And after some time, both of them left the house at the same time. The old man locked the door of his house. He went to his work, to the creamery, and the rat trap seller also thanked the crofter and went his own way. But half an hour later, the rat trap peddler stood again before the door. Only half an hour had passed that the peddler was seen again before the door of the cottage. Now look at this. This hints at the intentions of the peddler, right? He was back at the same house which was locked. The owner had left for his work and he knew that nobody else was there in the house. So what could his intentions be? Yes, he was there to steal the money he had seen. He did not try to get in, however. He only went up to the window, smashed a pane, stuck in his hand, and got hold of the pouch with the 30 kroner. Now see, he knew the place well, the place where the money was kept. So, in spite of breaking into the house, he went directly to that window where the money was, where the pouch was hanging, in which the money was kept. He simply smashed a pane, broke a window pane, stuck in his hand and took the pouch. He removed the pouch from there. He took the money and thrust it into his own pocket. He removed the three 10 kroner bills, that is 30 kroner. He took the money, he put the money in his own pocket and he hung the leather pouch very carefully back in its place and went away. So, see, he broke the pane, he took the money, but he kept the leather pouch back there. Maybe the leather pouch was of no use to the peddler, or maybe he wanted to keep the crofter in an illusion that the money was still safe in the pouch there. So, with this description, description of crofter's meeting with the peddler, both leaving the house, then peddler coming back to the house and stealing the money from the pouch, we come to an end to today's session. The story is a long one and we would require more sessions to complete it. So we shall proceed with the story in the next session. That's all for this session. Let's have a brief look at a few questions just to summarize whatever we have read in the story today. First question is, who is the peddler in the story? So the peddler is a vagabond. He's a homeless man who makes rat traps of wires and sell them. He also resort to thievery and begging, right, in order to keep his body and soul together. Next question, why did the peddler knock on the cottage by the roadside? So the reason is very simple, because he wanted shelter for the night. How was he treated by the owner of the cottage? He was treated very nicely. Unexpectedly, he got a very nice treatment from the owner of the house. The owner of the house not only received him in his house, not only provided him shelter, but he also shared his food and tobacco with the peddler. They also played a game of cards. They talked a lot about various things before going to bed. And the next question is, why was the crofter so talkative and friendly with the peddler? So, what is the reason that makes the crofter so talkative and friendly with the peddler? We must remember the peddler was a stranger to the crofter. Still, he was very talkative and friendly with him. Why? The reason was obvious. The crofter lived alone, he had no other member in his family, so he craved for company. He wanted to talk to people and share his things with. So, when the peddler arrived at his house, he was very happy to have company, right? So, that is what made the crofter so talkative and friendly with the peddler. Now, that's all for today's session, children. Thank you and have a nice